This is my third book out of 3 of my trip to Europe for summer 2025. We went to Vienna and we went to Slovakia. This is my traveler's notebook, record of my visit there. So we did the extension of the visit to Europe after my husband's choir, the Dallas Symphony choir, was complete with their performances in Prague and Berlin. This is an old postcard of Vienna. The Ringstrasse is that red street, that red wall is now a street that goes around the city. We stayed at the Vienna Red, which is right on the subway line. Very wonderful because you could get off the subway and be right in your hotel. It was awesome. So I found this scratch paper. I used to do a 3D sticker of my journaling. That's me journaling on the boat to Bratislava one day. I had some time to sit as we cruised down the Danube. And you can see in the museum that the Slavic culture did scrapbook too. That's an old scrapbook from 1400s. It's a bit full, of course, and that's what happens sometimes. Let's see. So when we arrived in downtown Vienna, we went to the downtown area and immediately walked past St. Stephen's Chapel. Didn't really go into it. I don't know, kind of has some artifacts there that are very interesting. When we did go to Bratislava, Slovakia, now this scratch paper reminds me of a closet, so you open up the closet and there was an exhibit on Marie Antoinette's clothes. There's her wedding gown, and really pretty. Now, I don't know if these are actual articles of clothing that she had, but that's a meaning. But if they are, they're preserved very well. See, that's the closet. Kind of cool. Open up the French door. Anyway, when we were walking in downtown Vienna, there was this opening that had a glass window, and inside the building is this chapel that has not been exposed to the public for many, many years. It's by the Central Cafe. And that evening we had a brat from a vendor that had cheese in it. It was really good. And then we went to Central Cafe for a coffee because the coffee house culture is very big in Vienna. And then we went to the show at the votive church, and it was about the light of creation. So it's basically old art meeting new art. And took the receipt of our tickets here. Put this out for us. It was an immersive light experience. And you can see one of the profound parts is the cougars being on top of the alcoves, and a special part was the lamb being highlighted and all the light coming from the lamb. my daughter is an animation artist, and it was nice to see modern animation done as murals. It was just fantastic. And so her art from her movie called Cosmic Melody matched a little bit. The light show was about creation, and it turned this cathedral on the inside to like you felt like you were underwater with whales swimming on top of you. And Alexandra's film was about fish being musical instruments in outer space, which is kind of different and ethereal. This scratch paper that I have is by, not scratch paper, scrapbook paper is by Minte, and it's has a lot of mirrors in it. So I took my great-grandmother's mirror and just kind of blended it with the scratch paper pattern. So when we went to Mozart's apartment, I collected the handouts, and then we were walking on the subway. I noticed this wonderful picture of Stephen. Of course, there's the Mozart chocolates. But they're not sold at the house, they're sold separately from at the street. But so it was a nice thing to see. My husband actually got to play in Mozart's music room on the piano. He played Mozart in Mozart. And he's performed Mozart's Requiem. And this was that fun moment. So I got to look at some of Mozart's original pieces. And it's his statue at the Hofburg Gardens. The palace there is called the Hofburg Palace. There's the plaque on the wall, a little sack from the visit, a little postcard. This is called a Dutch door, where you cut the paper at different lengths. There's Schubert. There's a garden with all the statues. Went to, as we were browsing downtown, we walked into a cigar shop, and the vendor there is so kind. That store has been there since 1692. It's the oldest cigar shop in the world. And then there's a paper music store. And then this is a continuance of the evening after we left the light concert. We had, it's called currywurst from a street vendor. It's where they take a bratwurst and put a curry sauce on it, and it's really awesome. And the moon was beautiful, and when the light show was over, they lit up the steeple. You can see here that we had some Sacretort, which is the chocolate cake in Vienna. And here's the homemade soup, kind of a combination of Asian and European in a way, with noodles and things. When we went to see Cafe Central, learned about the history. Sigmund Freud used to sit there and ponder, along with some other characters of history, which are not very positive characters of history. So I don't know what was up with that place. But anyway, they want it to be a place of pondering. So I wrote about that, here. And I have spilt coffee. But they're a very beautiful place. And the line can be long. And you can see their desserts are profound, and their service was very nice. And then the next day we went to Cafe Demel and had apple strudel. This is their croissants. Their specialty is the violet chocolate, which was a favorite of the Empress. A couple days later, we went to the Upper Belvedere and to see the painting and the art. It's kind of a bit of a rainy day. The room that Steve is standing in was where they signed some of the peace treaties for World War II and the settlement for Austria. You can see Maria Theresa, the Empress of the Holy Roman Empire, her influence in architecture and real estate. Part of her is positive and part of her is not quite so much, because she did call for the persecution of people who didn't follow Christianity the way she wanted it to be followed. So however, her style is awesome. I love the cast iron lattice. Kind of went on a hunt for that. A couple generations down the road is Cece, Queen Cece, and her hair pieces are captured in a museum, and this is a photo of what the hair pieces looked like. They're probably worth like millions of dollars a piece. Oh, there's that lattice again. And what was really awesome is we got to take a carriage ride and went underneath the carriageway, which includes that. So I found this sticker, Happy Ever After. One of the other pieces at the Upper Belvedere is Monet's painting, The Chef. So part of our exploration, we went to this restaurant in downtown Vienna. And the rolls, this is the bread basket. Isn't that awesome? And the goulash, when it came to my table, you could smell the aroma of the spices and everything. It's just beautiful. And we went to dinner with our friends. And when you go downstairs in this restaurant, it's like the 1600s. I mean, or even later. But very beautiful there. The night that we went to the votive church, this is the brat that they put a hot poker into the bread and then put the sausage into the bread and give you mustards. They pour mustard in there. I thought this was kind of fun architecture or art. The big giant rabbit on top of the building. So here is the painting called The Kiss by Klimt. So we thought and the research behind the painting is that it's layered. So I bought 3 postcards and kind of replicated the layering of the painting. And explains it next to the exhibit. You'll find a few facts about the World War II era and the persecution of Jews. And there were those who tried to get them out. Jan Spasek, he was a lawyer who tried to get people out, and they have saved a tuxedo of his, and they have that exhibited in the Bratislava Museum. So one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Slovakia is that I have a little bit of family history with my grandfather there, kind of going back to my first video. He tells of, this is the only piece of scratch paper that I have about him, and this is the region where he says he's from. See, there's Bratislava, Piastani, Trechen. The boat that we took was very wonderful. It has oh, I can't remember the name of the technology, but the crew was very helpful and kind. And I think it's nice. You can explore nature. The train gives you some options, but I think the boat was wonderful because you get to explore outside in the country, and your time is honored. And this is the crew took my receipts and signed it. That was very kind of them. It's called the Twin City Liner. So I take the brochures of things and reorganize them in a way. And I cut them up. Some of our friends are from Bratislava and live here with us, and so we sent that picture to them. What was 3 a.m. in their time, but it was like the afternoon for us. That was funny. See, here's some of the adventure of the boat ride. We passed Devon Castle. That's been in existence since 1100 or later, or earlier. I don't know, like 400 AD. And then there's more of downtown Bratislava. So I was able to immerse myself in learning the culture. So we went to the Bratislava Castle, and there's a secret passageway, and it has a stair alcove right here. And we go into that room, and then there's a little stairway, and it probably ends up being one of the turrets, but it goes round and round. We did something called castling, where you visit the castles. And of course, Maria Theresa had to have her own stairway. And this whole place was restored. Now here's the Celtic history. And of course, here's the ancient Moravian Venus. And so we're like, okay, there's the genetic code. Here's one of the wells from the 15th century. Goes all the way down to the base of where the Danube would feed into it. It's a Celtic Acropolis. Kind of fun to learn about my genetic history. This is the map of going from the castle to the old town, and there's a holy pathway that the royalty used to take, and so we kind of follow along. This was a monastery entrance, cathedral, still going into the lower town. The bricks are marked with a bronze star that says that you're on a sacred path. So this way is to Budapest and this way is to Vienna. When we were in the old town, we went to this one place called Kormuth's, and amazing. I don't think we have authentic desserts anymore in this time in history, except for here. I mean, they were incredible. It's the best ice cream I've ever had. It was white chocolate ice cream, and the texture was just perfect. And the swan, I'm telling you, the swan was incredible. And the funny thing about this place is the potty break. So, of course, Steve and I took pictures of the bathroom. See, here's the stone walkway. Beer tastes differently in Europe. I think it has to do with the hops and the wheat. The wheat crop just looked beautiful. I don't think I've seen such a beautiful wheat crop. So I think Bratislava is a day trip from Vienna, very accessible, more just calm, yet has a lot of exploration. This was a postcard that I bought because she had the brown eyes like I do. One of the things I noticed about my husband is that he's really good with subway navigation and foreign language, and he is able to, he calls himself the Rick Steves of foreign subway travel. He did good. And this was our airplane home. And as we flew over America, parts of America, Quincy, Illinois is part of my mother's history. And here is the triune relationship between Slovakia, Bohemia, and Celestia, I think. And there we go. So this is my traveler's notebook for Vienna and Slovakia. A bit full, but that's what happens.